First Lady Melania Trump making rare comments today to the media about the protests in Minnesota. Joining me now to discuss these latest developments, our panel, Neves, Democratic strategist, and Matt Klink, GOP strategist and president of Klink Campaigns. Great to have you both with us, guys. Let's watch the tape here of the First Lady.
We need to unify. I'm calling for unity. I know my husband, the president, had a great call yesterday with the governor and the mayor, and they're working together to make it peaceful and without riots. I'm against the violence, so if we protest in peace. And we need to unify in these times. Mm-hmm.
Matt, what does de-escalation look like in Minneapolis amid the ongoing tension in the Twin Cities?
Well, if you're a Democrat, de-escalation would mean that you pull ICE troops and you allow illegal immigrants to continue going about their daily life in this country, including criminal illegal aliens. I think that unfortunately there's a chasm difference between the common sense immigration policy Donald Trump has implemented and the radical policies that Governor Walz and Mayor Frey have done in Minneapolis. As I've said before, this is what Democratic leadership is like in Minneapolis. So I don't think they may calm the rhetoric, but the radical in Minneapolis, they don't want to stop illegal immigration.
Lee, to Matt's point, what do you make of, or is it, fair to conflate ICE's actual immigration enforcement operations with the encounters that it's having with agitators?
I mean, no, it's not. Look, let's get to the heart of the issue here. The heart of the issue is that you had a bunch of yahoos, and I will use that term yahoos, up in Minneapolis. You have an ICE force that is seriously undertrained. It used to take 6 months to train an ICE officer. They shortened it to 6 weeks. You have people who haven't passed background checks. This is wide knowledge. It was a big story last year. People who couldn't pass physical tests becoming ICE officers. These are yahoos with a gun, and they're taking their cues from the top. One thing I'm happy to see is Greg Bovino get demoted. That guy, everyone took his cues from him, and he thought he was some sort of a tough guy. That infamous video of him walking around yelling at protesters, I'm not sure who he was trying to channel there, either Field Marshal Erwin Rommel or Tony Manero from the opening scene of Saturday Night Live. But that was ridiculous. That was play acting. And you know what happens when you play act and you show everyone else you could be a tough guy and get away with it? You have murders like happened with Renee Good and this weekend. I have experience with clients who are district attorneys. I have experience working as a consultant for police officer associations. And I will tell you, if what happened this weekend happened in a local police, metropolitan local police force sheriff department, those officers would be prosecuted for murder. And yet you had members of the administration, without even investigating, without even looking at the video, without doing any investigation whatsoever, go on air, call them assassins, call them horrible people, call them looking to do harm. You hear that kind of propaganda out of the Communist Party of China, not the United States government.
So, Matt, what lessons from the BLM protests back in 2020 might be applied to what we're seeing unfold in Minnesota, especially when we're talking about, as Lee just invoked, Bovino, who's now been shipped out to California. I don't know if it's a demotion or not, but clearly a message. Do you run the risk of demoralizing the rest of the folks because they might not feel like everybody has their back at this point?
No, I think that that's on the ground in Minneapolis. They know that the federal government has their back, even though state and local law enforcement are prohibited from partnering with ICE agents on the ground. That's the people that should be interacting with the local populace, not the ICE agents. But again, you've got Governor Walz and Mayor Frey who have forbidden that. And frankly, the ICE has arrested 2,500 felon legal immigrants in Minnesota. And I will say, the Dems, they don't want that. Those are social Democratic voters. So your other guests can talk about jumping to assumptions. I work for law enforcement district attorneys as well. I think that the smart place is for both sides. Any moron can watch a 10-second tape and reach a conclusion. That's why investigations. Kristi Noem shouldn't have said what she said. She's not there anymore. But morons on the Democratic side are doing the same thing. And those same morons, by the way, are talking about Gestapo. And that's why the U.S. Holocaust Museum Walt's a new one for comparing the protesters to Anne Frank. Give me a break.
Lee, do you think the administration's reevaluation of their strategy in Minnesota will lead to some common ground between state and federal authorities and reduce the rhetoric that the Democrats are, frankly, perpetuating that Matt speaks of?
I would hope so. Look, video doesn't lie. You saw a video this weekend of a guy on his back, his gun being unholstered, taken away. And after his gun was taken away, the video's very clear. The guy's walking away with this gun. He is on the ground and he is shot 5 times after he's on the ground already shot. That's why Americans are mad. We've reached a tipping point where a lot of people are hearing what the administration is saying, hearing what Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller are saying. Then they see the video frame by frame by frame, and they're like, something doesn't smell right in the state of Denmark. Something doesn't add up. And I honestly hope, I really do hope, because I've been on this program, I've been on other programs. Illegals, undocumenteds who are here illegally, get them, who are here committing crimes illegally, get them out. All those felons, get them out. People who are here committing felonies and undocumented, get them out. The problem is you have ICE chasing 5-year-olds down the street and going into schools, taking kids and rounding up families that haven't been committing any crimes whatsoever. None at all. Focus on what you campaigned on. You campaigned on saying we're going to go get those undocumented, those illegals who are here committing crimes. Everyone's for that. I'm for that. I know a lot of other Democrats who are for that too. We're not for the overreach that we're seeing.
Well, Lee, that's what I mean. I guess it seems like, are you perhaps jumping to conclusions with, your comments even about what we saw in that video? What we forget is the split second that these officers have to react to when they are under a lot of pressure.
And I go back to the training. I go back to the training, the fact that we have immigration officers out in the field who have 6 weeks of training because this administration had such a thing to round up as many undocumented as possible. Not the usual 6 months. I'm going to go on a limb and say if those officers had 6 months of training, not 6 weeks of training, this weekend probably wouldn't have happened.
Matt, I'll give you a chance to respond.
That puts Lee's rest. The officer involved had 8 years of training. So try another one, Lee. Keep going.
Well, switching gears slightly, the controversy here is carrying over, now impacting Capitol Hill. Some Senate Democrats now refusing to support funding for Homeland Security in the upcoming budget bill, which might lead to a shutdown, at least a partial one, while Republicans need bipartisan support to keep many of these agencies open. So, Lee, do you think that we're going to see a shutdown because of this?
I think as things stand now, yes, and we should. I think unless there's some serious reform to ICE, like I had just mentioned, getting back to these 6 months, not 6 weeks of training for ICE officers, having all ICE officers wearing body cams at all times while they're on duty, having even oversight, bipartisan oversight, whatever you want to call it, having oversight of ICE. There needs to be some serious structural reforms before any Democrats approve any funding for ICE or the Department of Homeland Security.
Matt, is this an effort, in your opinion, by the Democrats to raise attention at this moment or to satisfy their constituents? And where is the line between politics and doing what is right for the country and not further dividing it.
Steve, to show you how politically ineffective this will be, the irony is ICE and DHS have already a multi-year plan already in place through the one big beautiful for deportations, detentions, and border. So what the Democrats would be cutting funding for would be the Coast Guard, would be the Transportation Security Administration for FEMA. So the irony of this is that the Democrats say they want to prevent, they're already funded the next couple of years. They can't touch it. So again, this is just such a fake made up event for Democrats that they supported open borders religiously for 4 years. And now that Donald Trump is being effective and removing not only felon illegal immigrants, if you're in this country illegally, you have broken the law. He's starting to remove those folks as well. And the Democrats know that that's a problem because it means that potential voters are no longer going to be available to them.
I would like to know how many illegal aliens have actually voted. In the past, Lord knows how number of elections, if there's an actual number of how many that can be proved of how many illegal aliens have actually voted, I would love to know that number. Because Republicans love to throw that out there. All Democrats want are illegal aliens here who can go out and vote. I would love an actual number. Next time that comes up, I would love an actual number. A concrete, how many illegal aliens have actually voted.
If you don't check, you'll never
Matt
know.
Klink.
Your party of voter ID.
Matt Klink, Lee Neves, appreciate you both.